And so if you guys are, um, you can unmute yourself if you'd like, and we'll kind of chat. So a few things. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you for joining. This is so exciting. So I'm sharing my screen here. I don't know on your guys' screen if you can see the chat box. We'll be doing a lot of things in there. You can move your chat box around. There is a video screen where you can, if you see yourself, there's different options for viewing. You can view, I think it's just me or just yourself. You can view the whole group. So you can kind of play around with that while we're waiting. If anyone has any questions, just let me know.
Hey, Angela, it's Michelle. So I've not done a Zoom meeting before,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering, so I have the video shared, but I can see you, but I don't know how to like see everybody else. So
Yeah. Okay, so there are tabs at the very top.
yep.
You see those? Okay. So if you click on the one, I think with multiple, on my end, I see two bars.
Okay.
Um, if you click on that, you should be able to see everyone.
Okay.
And if there's lots of people joining, they'll have like an arrow button.
Okay.
So, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And as people are joining, we'll just welcome them in. So this Zoom is scheduled for 7 to 9, but it might not go that long. I just wanted to have a good buffer of time here for us because I want this to be very much this group, a very safe and sacred circle. The groups that I hold in person I'm just gonna turn my music off here. The groups that I hold in person, I find that when we come together, um, I find that when we come together as a group, there's often um, there's often a common theme that all of us are working on. And so if you can see your chat box, we'll be using that a lot um, to type in things, type in responses, anything, your thoughts, feedback. I'm going to ask you some journal prompts and some questions so you can use that. I find the more we put in, the more we get out of it. So first, let's just do an introduction, if you all feel comfortable. Let's go ahead and in the chat box, if you would put, let's see here. If you would put where you're from and what you're hoping to get out of today. And that gives me, I have lots of information I'm going to be talking about, but this gives me a focal point to know where everyone's at. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just let us know where you are tuning in from and what you're hoping to get out of today. And this is located right in that chat box. So Linda says Greenfield. She's curious about meditations. Awesome. Thanks for joining, Linda. Oh, I'm so excited to have you here. I know we have one person from Austria and it's 2:00 in the morning. So I think, right? So thank you for joining us. I'm so excited you were here. you're living in Vienna. I hope to get the feeling of my intuition. Awesome. Angela is from Knoxville, Tennessee, looking to love myself more in clarity. Michelle is from Elmwood, Wisconsin, and excited to learn about meditation. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and just dive deep. So normally I don't use PowerPoint presentations, but I wanted to really stay on focus. Brittany is from Barron, and she needs grounding, something that reminds me I got the stay at home, homeschooling kid thing when I want to scream my head off. Yes. So all good things that we will be talking about. So what this is, so love you again. We're going to be talking about self-care that you can apply to your life. We're going to do a meditation. And we're going to talk a little bit about that so you know what it is. And we're going to talk about how to tune into your intuition, how to just rediscover your passions. And you're going to leave with a personal mantra that you're going to create based on all the things that we're going to take away. So that'll be at the very end. So I really wanted to do this because my journey, I know the importance that I've learned is everything in the outside world, like especially right now, we can't control anything. We can't control our kids, our spouses, what's happening in the world, and that can make us feel out of control. And what I've learned in my journey is that the feeling of control comes from within. And when we are in alignment, when we're in that feeling good place, we can tune into our intuition. We can take more risks because we're not worrying about what everyone else thinks. We care more about what we think because we love ourselves. So a little bit about me. I'm a massage therapist, meditation instructor, and a coach. And so I support women to gain the confidence and love yourself again. And that's through this self-awareness. And this is what I've spent years working on. I have been in abusive relationships, went through eating disorders, you name it. And now, I've had this journey of learning these tools that I'm going to share with you today. I'm sharing with you the top tools that really helped transform my life to where it is right now. So I'm going to be sharing lots of tips. I would ask for you to pick out one thing, and most of you who wrote in the box have that one thing you're looking for. I think if you can take one thing away from this, it was a success. And before we get started into it, so if everyone has a journal or a paper, something to write with, go ahead and grab that. Grab your pen. We're gonna do some writing right away just to tune into ourselves. So first, if you wouldn't mind writing in the chat box how you feel, maybe like one word of how you're feeling right now. There's no right or wrong. If you're feeling happy, tired, anxious, stressed, however you're feeling, just write that in the box. Angela says overwhelmed, tired, but also really happy. Tired, stressed, good at this moment, but overwhelmed, on and off all day. Okay, this is great. So now I want you to set an intention of how do you want to feel when this call is over. And again, you can enter this in the chat box if you feel comfortable with that. How do you want to feel by the time this Zoom call is over with? How do you want to feel? What is that feeling? Do you want to feel calm, relaxed? Michelle says calm. Relaxed and clean-headed, yes. closer to myself, comfy, warm, hearted. Yes. Okay. So I just want to talk about meditation here. Let me go back up. Okay. What meditation is to me. So sometimes we think um, meditation is sitting in like lotus style position and let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and comment what you think meditation is, but or what you perceive it as. But a lot of times people think meditation is, we're too busy to meditate, or we have to be in this lotus style position and a yogi and know all Sanskrit words. And so I'm just gonna let Jade in. Hello, Jade. So meditation for me is getting out of our head and into our body. So I don't have that book here. I'm reading Untamed by Glennon Doyle, and she in her book talks about meditation, um, and how she would go into a closet and sit there for like 10 minutes. She would go in a closet and sit for 10 minutes. And at first it started with 1 minute, and then she would build up. And what she found was at first she wanted to, at first when we start to meditate, we're thinking of what we want to make for supper or the fact that we have to do laundry. Um, and so the act of meditation is coming back to your breath. So it's our brains never stop thinking. If we allow our brains and we never do self-care meditation, our brains are going to get tired. That's when we feel stressed and overwhelmed, and our soul cup is totally depleted. So we'll talk a little bit about meditation, how to do it, and then we'll do a meditation together. So what does meditation look like? It can look like setting your timer and sitting down for 1 minute before you get out of bed in the morning, or when you start to feel stressed. And you can start with that 1 minute and just sit there. And you can listen to music or you can listen to nothing. And the thing is, I always say we don't do meditation to get better at meditation. We do meditation to get better at life. And so we notice when we're doing meditation how thoughts will rise in us. At first, it looks like I need to do dishes or laundry or do something for the kids. And then that kind of floats away. And then we'll have a story pop up of, gosh, I don't like how my stomach feels right now. I feel fat. Or, usually it's like these negative stories will come up. And then the longer we sit there, the deeper we go within, and the more practice we have with meditation, the deeper we can go within. So now when I meditate, I tune in. So it's like going below the mud. So all that, like there's a muddy pond. And so when I go to the bottom of that muddy pond and I sit there really still, with practice, the pond eventually clears and I feel clear-headed and answers come to me or thoughts come to me. When I was doing a meditation, I have all different kinds of thoughts. In my classes, people experience, they see colors, they see objects, they have insight or inspiration to do something. And so when we are in our head all the time thinking, in masculine energy, we get caught up in that hamster wheel and we're like, oh my gosh, what do I need to do? And we're so busy doing versus just being. So when we're just being, when we give ourselves that gift, even if it's 5 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, or longer, we can get back into our body. So some people, I do this in a bath. I light candles and I look at the candle. It's called candle gazing. Some people do that. It just gives your mind focus on looking at something visual, because a lot of times we're very visual people. Before bed, almost every night, I love to listen to guided meditations. I pop up YouTube, or if you have Spotify, um, I listen to a guided meditation, and they have guided meditations on, how to sleep good, or how to feel calm. So you can just go type in and listen to that guided meditation. Guided meditation, that's a form that I teach in my classes. It gives your mind something to focus on. So when you listen to the words that I'm saying in a class, I go through parts of the body, and that gives your brain focus. It focuses on something, and then in about 10 minutes, you notice you start dropping down. Your mind starts to wander into like this magical place, and then you'll catch a thought every once in a while. And so when a thought happens, come back to your breath. Just come back to deepening and slowing your breath. This is what I find works the most to relax or fall asleep or to feel that calm, is to when I'm noticing my thoughts, it's that first self-awareness, and then it's just recognizing it, and then I say, okay, I need to slow my breath, deepen my breath, and we're gonna do that in a second here. It's checking in with your body. So we'll go through that of doing a body scan. And I want you to know too that you can't do meditation wrong. It's going to look different for everyone. What I do is going to look different from you. So let's go ahead. We are going to do a meditation. I'm going to turn on my music. We're just going to get grounded and centered. Okay, so we're going to start. If you can, place both feet on the floor, or if you're laying in bed, that's okay too. Just bring your awareness to your feet. And when we bring awareness to our feet, it's very grounding, because feet are our foundation for everything. Feet help us to move forward in life. So just feel all four corners of your feet on the ground. And notice how the ground feels. Right now, my feet are on the soft rug in my room. And then we're gonna go up our legs. Relax your calf muscles. Relax your thighs. Go ahead and sit back in your chair, relaxing your stomach. A lot of times we tense our stomach. Relax your chest. Bring your shoulders down and back. Just let your shoulders drop. Bring your arms to your sides of your body, and just let your arms hang there, and just shake your arms out a little bit against your hips, your thighs. And imagine the weight of the world, whatever stresses that you have right now, whatever things that you have to do, things you're thinking about, all the overwhelming things, the unknown things, the doubts, let that roll down your arm. Imagine it trickling down your arm like a waterfall, like a slow, steady waterfall. And all your worries, all your stress, exits your fingers and it drips down into the ground, or it pours down into the ground. And Mother Earth is catching it. She's supporting you. The ground below you is supporting you. She's going to take all your stress, just give it to her, allow her to have it, allow her to carry it, allow her to take responsibility over it. Ask for her help and her assistance, her guidance. You can even flick your fingers on the ground, just flick your fingers. Do whatever feels good to you, whatever's calling to you. Whenever you're ready, you can stop moving your arms and just letting them relax, letting them soften. And soften your chest. Soften your throat. Soften your face. Your eyes. Relax the muscles around your eyes. Relax your forehead. Let your jaw hang. Just let your jaw loose. Relax your tongue and your mouth. And notice if there's any areas of tension in your body. I want you to take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth, breathing it all out. If there's any stress or tension left in your body, see if you can bring your breath to that area. See if you can bring your breath and expand and open and create space in your body. Sometimes we feel like these solid mass humans' bodies. I want you to think for a moment of all the space in your body. There's so much space in the universe, in the air, in outer space. I want you to imagine that space and that openness inside your body. Between every cell, there's space. In the cells, there's space. In all your organs, it's space. So if a visual works for you, imagine your breath. You're bringing your breath and your light, your inner light, expanding. And let your body move if it just wants to move. We're tuning in within. Now I want you to just visualize the energy. Whether you believe in God, source energy, universe, whatever name you have. I always like to say universe, but whatever feels good for you. Imagine this light, this power, this being at the top of your head at your crown chakra. And I want you to take a nice deep inhale through your nose, bringing this light into your body. Exhale, just hold the light in. Bring the light to the center of your chest. What color is the light? Is it a bright color, a dim color? Does it have a shape or a size? And I want you just, whatever comes up first, Just let that be it. And if nothing comes up, that's okay too. Sometimes things come later. So in the center of your chest, imagine this light. And mine feels like a purplish pink. And it feels solid and it expands out. And imagine it just, with every inhale, this light growing bigger and bigger in your chest, moving clockwise. And it's getting bigger and fills your whole body. What feeling does this light have? For me, the light feels warm. What feeling does yours have? And take 3 deep breaths in through your nose. Expand your belly. Allow your belly to soften and grow. And exhale, let it all out. Imagine the source energy that is coming in through the top of your crown chakra, the top of your head, filling your whole body. It exits out of your feet. So anything no longer serving you, anything you're ready to let go of, exits out of your feet into Mother Earth. She is so wise, so intelligent. We don't have to control Mother Earth. She knows how to grow and prosper herself. And then she takes it, brings that energy up through the roots, through the air, and it circles back around into the top of your head, back through your body, back down your feet, into the earth. And imagine this continuous flow. The image of water comes to me. Just this flow, this feel-good flow. Like you can't hold on to water, but it just flows. This is what this energy is. We're tapping into our highest self, our highest energy. And come back to this light in the center of your chest. And imagine this light within you, this light of peace and love. And imagine it filling your whole body until it overflows into the room that you're in. Just imagining this light spilling. I imagine like gold glitter just filling the room with your light and your love. We don't have to understand how energy works. We feel energy. Our minds can't comprehend energy, but we can feel it. And if you don't feel it, that's okay too. Just stay with me. And so imagine sending this love and light. It's filling the room. And I want you to bless the room with peace and love. Right now, you're clearing and cleaning your space. Your emotional, physical body, spiritual body, and now your physical space. And now let's expand the light. Expand your light across the city and send the city your love and light and peace. Imagine just floating over the city or flying or soaring, sending everyone your love, light, and peace. Because your happiness and joy is coming from within you right now. And now imagine yourself flying across the country, sending everyone below you your light, love, and peace. And now expand your light, love, and peace across the world. So we are literally joining forces together with our energy, with our imagination. Our brains don't know the difference of what we imagine to be real and what is real. We are right now creating our reality. We are that powerful. You are that powerful. And now brain, imagine going to outer space. And now you're looking down at the world and you're blessing the world with love, light, and peace. And you can even, I have my hands placed open, like I'm sharing and just shining love, like almost like a Care Bear hug. If you guys remember Care Bears, that Care Bear stare, and the light is beaming from my palms onto the whole world below me. I am sending everyone my love, light, and peace. And I want you to look up at the stars. Imagine you're looking up at the stars all around you. And then you notice one star that's brighter than all of the other stars. And that star comes closer and closer to you. And that star transforms and becomes your future self. This is your higher self. Your future self, where there's no doubts, there's no worries. You are exactly where you want to be. And your future self whispers a message in your ear. She has a message for you. What is that message? Take in that message. And maybe you don't hear a message right now, and that's okay. Trust that it will come to you. Trust that you're getting exactly what you need in this moment. Now I want you to keep that message in your heart. And we're gonna soar or fly back to the room you're sitting in right now. And on our way back, I want you to think of one person who has always supported you, who loves you so much. And send that person your love, light, and peace. Take a deep inhale in and exhale out of your mouth. And now think of one family member, whoever comes to your mind first. Send them your love, light, and peace. Take another deep inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. And now think of someone that you maybe haven't talked to in a while, or maybe someone that you have some conflict with. Send them your love, light, and peace. And take a big inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. And now I want you to think of one thing you are proud of yourself for. Maybe that's just being on this call. Maybe that's something you recently accomplished or something in your past. For me, many times it's just showing up sometimes for myself. Take a nice big inhale through your nose. Exhale out of your mouth. And arrive back in your body. Moving your head from side to side or making small rolls with your neck back and forth. Moving your fingers and toes. Slowly opening your eyes. Softening your stomach. Now I want you to feel all four corners of your feet, just to kind of ground back down. Just notice what you notice. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Whenever you're ready, you can slowly open your eyes. And if you feel called, go ahead and post in the chat box, if you experienced anything. Actually, I would like to open it up for conversation, because sometimes we can experience that maybe we didn't have an experience, or maybe we experienced colors or light. Oftentimes when I am doing a meditation, I find myself kind of swaying back and forth. And to me, I notice it. It happens, and then I notice it. And I'm almost tempted to stop swaying because I'm like, why am I swaying right now? This is weird. But I allow my body to move, because movement, it's energy flowing through our body. So when I move, I move forward and backward, or my hands move, and I allow it and receive it because I know it's just energy. I'm getting out of my head and back into my heart. Sometimes I see images or colors. So let's go ahead and open it. Go ahead and just unmute yourself, and you can just say whatever you experienced, how it went for you. Maybe it was hard.
Hey Angie, it's Brittany.
Hey.
You know, I kind of do the same thing you do, kind of move. I did this standing. I have a hard time doing laying down meditation because I fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this standing, and I felt the same thing, that I was moving.
Mm-hmm.
A while back, I took a class through Mayo for employees that talked a lot about how our brain processes things through moving. Our brain works while we're awake during the day, and normally when we're awake during the day, we're moving. And so they talked a lot about how that, sometimes when it feels like a meditation isn't working, to walk during the meditation, to do some form of mild movement, tai chi, yoga, anything that helps your body, even wiggling hands and feet. And I found myself weight shifting back and forth in a little bit of a pattern. It was really nice.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really good to know. And in a few tips too that I didn't share, I always fall asleep when I'm laying down meditating. So a lot of times I like to sit up, and it just kind of, I feel it's aligning when we're either standing or sitting up straight. It's just kind of allowing that energy to move through. But again, you can't do it wrong. Meditation also, and this goes with what Brittany just said. So think of a time when you were doing something and you got lost in time. That is also a form of meditation. So I used to paint. I would get lost in painting or writing. So think of a time, maybe you're driving in your car and there's a good song on and you're just feeling that flow. So what we want in meditation is to get out of our head and into our body. So however that works for you, when you notice your thoughts are more focused, and you're more in your body, so you're feeling that inflow, that's meditation. Would anyone else like to share? I don't want to call on anyone just in case people maybe don't want to share, but feel free to share, or you can post in the chat box too. So we will move on if no one has anything to say, and that is totally fine. Don't feel obligated. This is all about your time right now. So let's talk about self-care. Self-care is highly talked about. Everyone says do self-care. And for me, like, I want to know tools of like how to do self-care. And I loved this little definition that I'm going to read here. It is simply caring for oneself that is in mind, body, spirit. It is anything that affirms and strengthens your physical, emotional, spiritual well-being. Basically, what makes you feel good in your body, what energizes you. So self-care to me, I have my little cup that says "Do what you love" that my son gave me one year for Christmas, and I have this by my bed, and I'll show you guys here. It's kind of cute. It's a fake little aloe or a little succulent, but basically, imagine your body, your physical, spiritual, emotional body as this cup, and think of all the things that you do in a day. So just kind of think, what do you do in the day? We're raising kids, or we're workers. We go to work. We own businesses. Think of all your responsibilities. We have to go grocery shopping. We have to buy food. Now we're in this pandemic, so there's that. So as we progress, our cup is going to drain out, kind of like a car. Like putting gas in your car, you have to fill your car up or it's not going to run. The same with our bodies, and not just physical bodies, but spiritual and emotional. So think of we can work out, and we can lose weight, and we can eat healthier. We can have that physical self-care, but maybe our mind talk, our mind chatter is off the charts, and we are saying horrible things about ourselves, because we all do it. Most of what we think about, 80% of what we think about, is rolled over from day after day after day. So a lot of this work that we do, this self-awareness, this growth, is just about discovering what our thoughts are. So think of think of today, leading up to, I know some of you commented that you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. What have your thoughts been? What's been on your mind? What stories are you telling yourself during the day? Are you telling yourself that, you should be doing something, or you shouldn't be doing something? That's really common. I tell myself that all the time, and it's that awareness. So I still have those thoughts, but then I have that awareness of that thought, because I've trained myself to have that awareness. Okay, I'm thinking of something that I should be doing. And I want you to think of shoulds. Brittany, you might remember this when in the self-love group, the membership group, when we talked about this with Tyson, about shoulds. All shoulds are a story. So when I tell myself I should be doing this right now, or I shouldn't be doing this right now, like if I want to have a cream-filled Long John, I love those. If I find myself saying I shouldn't have this, how much of that negative energy, that shame, that guilt, am I pouring into my cup? Our cup there's only so much, right? So as we're as a cup is coming down, we are serving, we are doing all the things we have to do in life to keep our lives going. And then on top of it, we're shoulding ourselves, or we're saying we shouldn't be doing this. We're dumping more, we're draining ourselves. So, so I just want you to know that we're humans and we're always going to have these thoughts. What we can do though, how we take back our power and how we grow and transform, is to become aware of the thought we're having. And with practice, this gets easier. I still have my bad days, or the days that I'm really struggling. Of course, we all do, because it's not logical to be high all the time. We're going to have that ebb and flow because we're energy too. Everything's energy. So we're going to do some journaling. So if you have your journals or paper, whatever you have next to you. And also I just want to mention too, that a lot of times people think self-care is selfish, but self-care really means me too. And that's a quote I saw somewhere on the internet, but self-care means me too. So before we do the journaling, let's talk about what your ideas of self-care are. So a lot of times people think self-care is pampering or getting pedicures or whatever, getting our nails done, and that can be a form of self-care. Let's go back to the definition though. It is simply caring for oneself, your mind, body, and spirit. Because we are here on this earth, I believe, we're spiritual beings in a physical body. We're here to grow and expand. We're not here to live in guilt and shame and shutting ourselves. This is where our power feels like we have no power. It feels like we have no control. And this is where our cup runs even more empty. And sometimes we don't even realize it. And then we're yelling at our partner, our kids, whoever, or we're having a mental breakdown in our own minds, feeling like the world is out of control. We are out of control because we don't have that awareness yet of our thoughts. So once we tune into our thoughts, we can then shift it and say to yourself, this is a fear thought. This is natural. I see you. Now what else can I choose? So I want to do some journal prompts here. So I want you to write 1 to 3 things that feel good to you. 1 to 3 things that feel good to you. And I'll share a couple of mine, and go ahead and share in the chat box if you feel called. But I want you to also put this in your journal because we're going to do something with this at the end. So journal 1 to 3 things that feel good. So for me, when I get a massage, I'm a massage therapist, but when I get a massage, I focus on my breathing because I have thoughts that come. I focus on deepening my breath, slowing my breath, and then I get into that Zen space that yoga nidra space where I feel like I'm not really sleeping, but I'm not really awake. It's that in-between state. That's the meditation state where internal healing happen, all kinds of healing happen. Maybe it feels good for you to paint. I keep saying painting, I must need to paint. Maybe it feels good to garden and get your hands in the dirt. Maybe journaling, maybe you love journaling or taking a bath or going for a walk. Maybe it feels good to talk to a specific friend. Or I love to have coffee in the morning. I love my morning coffee because I can sit there and it feels warm and it's like me time. No one can take that coffee from me. It's mine. And if anyone has any questions or things to add about any of these things, pop in. This is our collective group. And I want as much interaction as you guys feel comfortable with. So again, no pressure, but feel free to pop in, unmute yourself, or put it in the chat box. Stevia says, when I am present with my awareness. Mm-hmm. And when you have your things and you feel good about it, I want you to circle that top thing that's a non-negotiable for you. Circle that one thing that you must do every single day, even if you're not doing it right now. For me, that one thing is going for a walk. I have to move my body. Through this quarantine, I haven't been walking as much, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my thoughts. So what is one thing, circle that one thing that just fills your soul cup? That's a non-negotiable, even if you're not doing it now. So does anyone have, we're gonna come back to all that circle. Oh, dancing, I love dancing. Brittany says anything outside. Michelle, when I'm hiking in the woods and taking in everything around me from the smallest plant to the wind in the trees. I love that. There's so much amazing energy outside. Jade says, just laying in my bed without doing anything, daydreaming about something specific, taking a bath. Yes, these are all great things. And again, this is your thing. So we're owning it. There's no judgment here. There's no right or wrong. Linda says, being in nature, sitting in the sun. Yes. Right before this Zoom call, I was outside of my backyard and the sun was out and I was doing a meditation and just kind of moving my body, feeling in the flow. So yeah, the sun is everything. We are going to move on if no one has any questions about that. Tuning into your intuition. Okay, I'll read what I have here. So how do you make decisions? Where does your inner knowing come from? What does it feel like? We'll get to the journal prompts here in a second. Intuition for me, when I first started this journey, I'm gonna grab a mint here. When I first started this journey, I was working with a coach and she asked me, how do you know how to make a decision? And I didn't know how to answer her because I had a really hard time making decisions. And I don't know let me know if you guys have a hard time making decisions. I had a hard time, so I didn't know how to answer her. And then she asked me, she said, what higher power do you believe in? And I told her what I believed in. And she said, how do you know when you're connected to that higher power? What does it feel like? What does it feel like in your body? I was like, whoa, I have no idea. I was not tuned into how my body felt. So I was a very anxious person. I have anxiety. So now these tools help me, but I didn't know these tools back then. So we're going to do some journal prompts, but I want to talk about making decisions. So when I worked with my coach, she suggested making little decisions every single day. And so often we go through life choosing what we think other people want us to choose. Or we are thinking about what other people want. And this is also a form of self-care, asking yourself, what does myself want? So you can practice making decisions. And I'll tell you, I couldn't even go into cherry berry because I couldn't make a decision. There's too many choices. So, making decisions gets easier and you feel empowered when you make a decision that feels good, not a decision that's based on guilt or shame or what you think other people want for you. Because that's living in our head, not from our empowered self. So you can start by going to the grocery store and when you're down the cereal aisle, choosing between two cereals, what cereal do you want? If you're driving in the car, choosing what channel to tune into. Because that again, what we choose to tune into, Abraham Hicks, she's on YouTube, she's amazing. She talks about energy. She talks about tuning in. So, if we are listening, if we're driving the car, listening to I-94, and, we want to be listening to Z100, we need to change the channel, just like changing our thoughts. We get there with changing our thoughts, just like changing that channel. So let's go to the journal prompt. I want you to write the last decision that you made. What was the last decision that you made? Maybe it was today, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it's a decision that you want to, maybe you're in that decision-making mode right now where you have to choose between something. So go ahead and just write that question down. You don't have to have an answer. We're just writing it down. Jade says, when it feels worse staying the same than the fear of change, I've made some decisions thinking about myself wholeheartedly without shame or guilt for the first time I can even think of. That is amazing. So Jade, I would ask you, what was it what was that shift for you, that you made the decision without guilt or shame for the first time that you can even think of? That's huge. So celebrate that. That's amazing. We don't celebrate enough. So what was that shift for you? So now we're going to journal. Where does your inner knowing come from? Meaning, what does it feel like in your body? When you make a decision, we all have that feeling of making decisions that we regret or feel bad about, or we feel really good about. So I want you to tune into your body, what that feels like when you make a decision. So Jade, just like Jade said, I feel that you felt empowered. But you can let me know, but what you're saying feels empowering. So think of a time and write this down. Write down a time in your life when you made a decision that felt empowering. You felt on top of the world. This was the best decision for you. And how did it feel in your body? And I want you to write how it felt in your body, either one word or a sentence. How did it feel? And I want you to circle that feeling that felt good. If it was a one word or a sentence, I want you to circle that feeling that felt good. And so we can also check in with ourselves and ask, when we make decisions, are you the type of person that you have to ask a lot of people, or can you trust in yourself? And how does it feel when you ask a lot of people? How does it feel when you make a decision yourself? Jade says, I feel like I hit rock bottom only to know that I was standing on a firm foundation. At first, I was extremely heavy because I felt grief. After processing it for a day, I feel powerful. That is amazing. You can circle that powerful word, girl. So I know, intuition is a huge thing. We can go really in depth, but I want to just brush on it. So we're just kind of hitting the surface with all these things, but it's still really important to cover, I feel. Intuition, to me, we all have intuition. Whether you think you have intuition or not, looking back on my journey, I felt at the time I didn't have the self-awareness I do now, but I can still remember feeling something, feeling when something wasn't right. We all are born with that, every single one of us. And if you don't feel in tune with your intuition, that's okay. It comes with practice. It comes from self-awareness and just checking in with yourself. Does anyone have anything they want to add, anything they want to share that came to you talking about intuition? Feel free to unmute yourself. Jade, you say, I can't ask anyone because it needs to be my decision. Yes, I find, because I'm the type of person, I had a habit of asking people their decisions. And or asking people, what do you think? What do you think about this? And when I did that, I noticed that I lost my voice. I lost what I felt because I kind of absorbed all of their, we can kind of understand where everyone's coming from. Everyone has their own perspective, but nobody is living life, seeing your vision, seeing what you see, feeling what you feel. No one knows that. So it is important to know how to empower ourselves. Okay, so let's move on. So rediscovering your passions. I put a picture of kids because when we're kids, we don't doubt ourselves. We don't second guess ourselves. When we're bored, we know how to entertain ourselves. We wake up and find the next best thing to do. And so, if this is helpful, you can write, I have a mantra that when I am going through a hard time or some stress or feeling overwhelmed, I ask myself, what is the next best loving thing I can do right now? So what is the next best loving thing? Because sometimes we can only get to that next minute of our day or the next hour, or then, just focusing on the present right now. What is that next best loving thing? Sometimes it's taking a nap. Sometimes it's, going through a drive-through and getting an ice cream or something. So we're going to do a brain dump. Because I feel a lot of times we're kids. We have this imagination, this playfulness, and then we get to that middle school, high school age where it's really, really hard, where we're like not wanting to be individual. We're wanting to be like everyone else, because it's like going back to the caveman days, like the tribes where the tribes back in the day, if you were an outcast and outcasted from a tribe, you would starve, you would die. So it's in our nature still, from thousands of years ago, from when they had tribes, that we want to fit in, because fitting in means survival. But fitting in right now in this day and age is a form of abandonment, abandoning yourself when you want to fit in, and we get lost. So I believe it's good. Good's not the word, but it's powerful when we do get lost. Because if I didn't get lost in my journey, I wouldn't have the self-awareness. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have this perspective. So it's never to feel bad or shameful about our quote unquote bad experiences. We really do learn so much from them. So and then the experiences, these negative experiences, they bring us to our passions. So I wouldn't be here like totally loving talking about all these things with you guys if I hadn't gone through all the crap that I've been through in my life. It would not have happened. And I do believe things fall away. Everything's ebbing and flowing, so things do fall away. Not everything is for a lifetime. Some things are for a season in order to have new things come up. So let's do a brain dump. I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes. I'm gonna turn the music on. Go ahead and list all of the things you feel passionate about. There's no holding back. There's no right or wrong. Even if it feels silly, write it down. Let your pen do the talking. So just start writing. Even if you don't know, you can say, I don't know. Just let it flow. Some questions to kind of get you thinking. What did you love doing as a kid? What are some things? What makes time fly for you? What would you want to do for a living if you could get paid mega bucks? What gets you excited? Sometimes we're so close to our own genius. Jenna Kutcher says this. She says, sometimes we're so close to our own genius that we forget that what we know, what our passions are actually valuable. So a lot of people that I work with, they discover their passions because your purpose is in your passion, I believe. One thing also leads to another. I didn't start sharing meditations and sharing all these things right out of the gate. It was slow. It was a process. It's a journey. So go ahead and just write all your passions. Maybe you're passionate about your kids, or passionate about the sun, or candles. Maybe you love candles. All right. So now I want you to circle your top 3 passions that you couldn't live without. Go ahead and circle your top 3. And then I want you to make a little star or X or check mark, the top one, the absolute top one. Does anyone want to share in chat what your passions are? What the top one was? I would love to hear. I was doing this exercise, and that is how I came up with my tagline of everything that I am. I was writing down my passions, and my kids are my passions, and creating a safe and sacred space for my kids. That is my thing. And that's how I got to really feel into what I'm doing for my job here, is that I create safe and sacred space. Like, that's my thing, that's my jam, it's my gift. And I discovered that by doing this. I I was already doing it, but I didn't realize it. Doing animations, especially with and about cats. That's so awesome. Painting. That's so cool. So now that you have that starred, so now we're gonna write, let's see. So I want you to write down, go back and look when we talked about self-care, when you circled your top non-negotiable, I want you to write that maybe in a little like separate area. Now, go back to when we talked about intuition, and remember you circled that feeling, how it felt. Write that right next to the one you just wrote about self-care. And then write down what you starred for your passion. Those 3 things. So these, we're getting closer to your core. We're getting closer to the center of you, what's important. And this is your values. These are your non-negotiables, things that are important to you. This is who you are. And feel free to share anything in the chat. So this is leading to creating your mantra. So if you don't know, if you've never heard of a mantra it's not, I don't like, we don't have to complicate mantras, or it's very simple. So a mantra is something that I tell myself to strive for or to get through something. And a mantra is very powerful because it gives our mind focus. So I always like to think of it, oh, you're having trouble with the intuition part. Okay. So see if you can tap into a feeling of how you felt when you made a decision that felt really, really good to you. And if you feel if you haven't had that experience, think of your future self. How would your future self feel internally? How would your future self feel if you made a decision that you felt empowered, a decision that you wanted to do? So for me, I feel when I make a decision that feels really good, I feel light. I feel confident. For me, the biggest one that I feel when I'm making a decision is confident. The more decisions I make, the more confident I feel. So for example, sometimes we need to make a decision to have a boundary with a family member. Maybe we can't talk to them as much, or maybe we can't have certain conversations with them. That's a decision that I've had to make. And that's a form of self-care. So we can talk more about that too, Linda. And if you have any other, so I don't know if I'm hitting on what you are saying. Okay, awesome. Excited. Yeah, you'd feel excited if you made this empowered decision. And this is all, and if it is okay if you're not sure or if things aren't coming to you, we're just kind of scratching the surface here. It's just to kind of get that momentum going. So, so now that you have those, these are your values. So we're going to create a mantra. So a mantra can look like, I am, and you can fill in the blank. I am confident. I'll share with you my mantra for this year. My mantra is I stand confidently in my power. So when I think of that mantra, I stand confidently in my power, I think of me standing confidently. I don't have to pursue, I don't have to strive, I don't have to push. I can stand there confidently in my power. And to me, that means things come to me. Life is easy, life has a flow. So maybe your mantra is I am excited, I am playful, I am, and usually when I use the word I am, when I use a statement I am, I pick out a word that I want to be. So this year also, I wanted to be more playful. So I would say to myself, I am playful. Because I can get, I have a lot of masculine energy. Most of us women do have masculine energy, whether we're female or male. If you're male, you have masculine and feminine energy, and if you're female, you have both energies. So, and I love talking about this, but it's kind of learning how to balance those energies. So masculine energy is a lot of me. I pursue, I do, and maybe you guys can relate. So we're kind of stepping into our feminine energy with all of these things. We're sitting right where we are, knowing that in this moment, there's nothing we have to do. We don't have to have any answers. We could just be together, and that is good enough. So feel free to write your mantra in your journal, and feel free to share with us as well. The key is to keep this simple. We don't want to overthink it because it makes it harder to remember. I am empowered. Yes. Maybe your mantra is I am enough, or my voice matters, or people love to hear what I have to say. It's kind of like what we want. We're speaking it into existence. And so when you have your mantra, and I would love to open it up at the end here, if you guys feel comfortable with it, to share. But so with mantras, I write on my bathroom mirror with a dry erase marker, because you can just erase it off, my mantra, because I see it all the time. I love to put in a word that's a feeling of how I want to feel. So on my bathroom mirror, it's not there now, but I had the emotions that I wanted to feel. So confident, empowered, in flow. I wrote those 3 top emotions that I want to feel on my bathroom mirror to look at all the time. And then when things come into our world that don't make us feel that way, it's kind of a check. It's a check-in. Or when we're hanging out with someone that maybe is not helping, we can check into that and we can make a decision based on what feels good. We're trusting ourselves. So a lot of this is trusting yourself. So I'd love to open this up to share what your mantra is. So go ahead and unmute yourself. Linda says, I make a positive impact. That's amazing. Stevia, did you unmute yourself? Did you want to share?
Sure, I can say I
Awesome.
am hi. I am mindful of my true essence.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. So what comes to your mind when you think of that?
First of all, I tend to look to what other people need before myself.
Mm-hmm.
So when I am mindful of my person, of just being present, practicing presence, it helps me to be more careful and thoughtful of myself instead of setting myself aside.
Yeah.
And my true essence is already enough, that I don't need to put myself aside for anyone to do that. I don't need to appease. I don't need to please. I am already enough.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you so much for sharing. I love that.
you. It's good to see you.
Yeah, so good to see you. Yes, I love what before I did my classes, Stevia was actually the first person who I took meditation teacher training, and I was so scared to start teaching class. And so I had Stevia come in and I said, hey, just come in, we're going to practice this. And she laid on the ground. I guided her through meditation. She was like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. So it's important to have powerful people in your world that will give you constructive feedback, but also positive. And that, but Stevie was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So that was really, really helpful. Thank you, Stevia. I wouldn't be doing this. I gained so much confidence from doing those to do online things like that are amazing like this.
Awesome. Awesome. Good.
And also, so I kind of started talking about that because I would say to myself before classes, I would say, what I have to say is good enough. When I do a speaking event, what I have to say is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Who I am is good enough. So if you're feeling nervous about a situation or meeting someone, who I am is good enough. Michelle says, I'm enough. I love that. Yes. So I would love for us all to take a moment and write down in your journal, and if you want to chat, put it in the chat box too. What is your biggest takeaway from today? What is your biggest takeaway? That self-care is not selfish. Yeah. There's no us if we don't fill up this cup of physical, like if we don't take care of our physicalness, our physical body, our spiritual body, our emotional body, we don't have anything to give.
Yeah, and I think that we're taught, from a young age as girls that we have to be selfless. You know what I mean? We have to take everybody into consideration and put all of our feelings aside, kind of like that book, Untamed,
Mm-hmm.
which she says, you have to stop doing that. Like, find your courage. And that, like, for me is a really hard thing. So this class and, what I've learned from you so far has really helped me realize that I'm not being selfish by taking care of myself and growing. So I appreciate that.
Yes, you're welcome. That is so true. I experienced in my life, we want to be the good girl. We want to be quiet and small and petite and hide. But how does that help us? How does that help the world? It doesn't. It leaves us feeling small and hidden and unseen. And no one benefits. And when we heal, when we do this work, all of you right now on this call are healing. You're raising your energy, your vibration, your consciousness. And that is healing thousands of people right now. Just by healing and focusing on you, because that's all we can control is ourselves. So when we do that, when we do the self-care, when we practice the mantras, when we practice our mindful thoughts, we are telling everyone, hey, you're off the hook for my happiness. My happiness comes from right here. And that's powerful because we take our partners off the hook, we take our kids off the hook, our employers or employees off the hook, our friends off the hook, people we date off the hook. Like no one, we feel that we know that no one's responsible for our happiness because we know how to create it. Yeah, Brittany says, I may not have control of everything, I can control me. Mm-hmm. And so one thing I would love to do, we'll do it at the end. We're almost done. If anyone has anything they want to add, just jump in anytime. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, girlfriend. Icy. She is joining us from Austria. So I would love for you to unmute yourself and say hi. She says, trusting this feeling when my intuition is talking to me, it's okay to listen to it and getting aligned with it. Just keep breathing. Yes. Yes.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm so excited you are joining us.
Thank you for having me, for having this beautiful night. It's just 3:30 and I'm really tired. I'm listening and enjoying it really much, but being part of it, like after the meditation, was pretty hard for me, but hopefully the next time.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It's so cool. So have your biggest takeaway either in your journal or in this chat box here. So now I'm going to open up to questions, Q&A. So if anybody has anything you want to talk about further or get more clarity on, feel free to unmute yourself and we can have a chat. And most likely if someone else is questioning or if you're questioning it, someone else is probably too. Or if you just have something you want to say, go ahead and go ahead. So if everyone feels complete, I wanted to share with you before we end, we're going to do a little ending here as a group. But I want to share with you, a few of you on here are in my membership group. And so I just wanted to share this with you. My membership group is called The Nest. It's all about discovering your wings and learning how to fly. So normally today in that group, we would have the Zoom call with just us in the group, but I wanted to do this special workshop and this was the only day and time I could do it. So, and I'm so glad I opened it to everyone. But the membership group is, it was $97 a month, now it's $33, and you can fly the nest, leave the nest at any time, and you can join at any time. And what it is safe and supported. I have this safe and sacred space for you to discover who you are and to come back home to yourself. So if you are wanting the extra support, I think as we go through this journey, support is huge. And if you are looking for that support, just let me know. I have at the bottom here the link to join you just go to angelarosellc.com/thenest, and you can join, and I'll get you into that private Facebook group. But this is really for support, and it's accountability of the whole group. So we do weekly live meditations. I do weekly card readings. I have guest experts to come in and share info, different info. We talked about, some things we talked about are like raising our consciousness. We're talking about chakras right now, and the pelvic bowl, the spiritualness of the pelvic bowl. That was one we just had. And then the main part of it is bi-weekly Zoom calls on Thursdays at 7 p.m. So that's a little bit about that, a way for extra support for yourself if you are interested. And before we end, I just want to end how I would end every meditation class. So feel free to close your eyes, put your feet on the floor, roll your shoulders down and back, and just focus in on your body. You can move from side to side. I notice my spine like popping as I move. It's just our bodies know how to heal itself. And what we're going to do is place your palms together, and we're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Raise your palms up to the sky, stretching your arms up, and exhale your arms, rainbowing your arms down to your sides. And as we're doing this, we're going to do this 3 times. And as you do this, imagine you're painting this rainbow bubble around you. It's a reminder to, it's a saying to yourself, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, with loving, kind heart. We're having boundaries, and we're taking care of ourselves. So on your inhale, palms up to the sky. Exhale, you're rainbowing your arms down at the sides, and I want you to think of one thing that makes you smile. For me, it's my morning coffee. Inhale your palms up to the sky. Inhale through your nose. Again, think of one other thing that you're happy for. What makes you smile? Exhale your arms down to your sides. One last time. Inhale your palms up to the sky. Think of another thing you're happy for. What makes you smile? Exhale your arms down to your sides. And we're gonna rub our palms together, creating that energy back in our body. And place your palms to your forehead for thoughts of wisdom. Bring your palms down to your mouth for words of kindness to yourself and others. And bring your palms down to your heart for living in love. And the wholeness in me honors the wholeness in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining. I'm just seeing this comment. I see trusting this feeling when my intuition is talking to me. It's okay to listen to it and getting aligned with it. Just keep breathing. Oh yes, I did read that. I must have been meant to read that again. You're welcome, Michelle. Thank you everyone for joining me.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. If anyone
Thank
wants
you very
to,
much.
you're welcome.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for taking the time, and truly, not everyone does this work. So this is a huge celebration to yourself, even just for showing up and trusting that you got whatever you needed from today. I'll go ahead and end, so you can hang up if anyone has any questions about anything or wants to talk more about anything. We are getting done early, so I have the time to talk, to work through anything. So I'll stay on, and if you guys are ready to, I'll also stop recording if anyone wants to talk about anything personal. But otherwise, you guys enjoy your evening so much, and I really appreciate you for being here. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let me unmute you guys here. I see a few of you are still on, so let me go ahead and unmute everyone. And then we'll just start chatting. How's it going? Who has something they want to chat about? How do you pronounce your name? Icy?
Me or who?
Yeah. Yeah.
Göknur.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful name.
Göknur İşçi. İşçi is my surname, yeah.
Okay, awesome. I probably still can't pronounce that, but thank you for joining
No
us.
worries. No worries.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
In
So,
Australia, they were calling me Gherkin, so no worries.
Girk, okay, awesome. Does your name mean something in
Yeah.
particular?
Gök means sky and Nur means light.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
It is. I love my name. I'm really happy about my name.
Do you feel like your essence is sky and light?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel my name. Exactly.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, well, my surname is Worker, so that's just. But it's okay. I feel like Lucifer, so.
That's awesome.
But with that name, growing up in Austria was pretty hard. But yeah, anyways, it's a lovely name.
Yeah, you were mentioning that. Did you want to share anything? Was it like environmental or
It was a racist environment I grew up. Yeah, it was much more like not in the city I'm living now, in the biggest city in Austria, but I was born and bred in close to Switzerland, and it was heavy not being part of it, because I was always different. I was the different one. I wasn't part of anything like. Yeah, Turkish background, so Turks are not that loved here still. There's a
wow,
big gap, cultural gap. Yeah.
still to this day, huh?
Mm,
Wow.
unfortunately.
So this is so how long have you been like on this self journey?
Since 2013 now,
Okay.
but really heavily since 2018. Last year was really hard for me. I felt so indecisive and couldn't make decisions, and I felt like a child, like lost one, like left behind. And after that, I started with affirmations and listening to Louise Hay and accepting myself how I am and with my background and everything. Since then, I'm calmer and I love myself as I am. And yeah, some people have problems with that, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what I've learned too is so I grew up with a severely handicapped sister. And so, you know, you discover like you know, people picked on her and I became very protective over her. And what I learned about that too, I took it very personal. And it helps me to know that like a lot of those people that judge, that's like their issue, you know, like their journey that they're on for judging. It still doesn't make it feel good though.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was also judging myself a lot because, and also my parents, and didn't understand all the things happening to me. Why were these things happening? Because of me being judgmental about myself.
Mhm.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm.
It was time to end some stuff,
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
We can so be our own worst enemy
Yeah.
Mhm.
when we take in that what people say about us as our truth.
Mhm.
Devastating.
Yeah. A lot of stuff comes from the childhood, and as long as you don't know how to deal with that, it's like, yeah, you take it over, and it feels like it belongs to you, but yeah. Hopefully, you find the way to know that it doesn't belong to you anyhow.
Yeah. I do inner childhood healing, and it's helpful for me to know that when I'm feeling when I start to get really down on myself, I imagine this part of me, like when I get scared or like doubting myself, I imagine this part of me. I'm like, okay, this is my like 8-year-old scared self, and then I imagine my adult self coming in and hugging her, you know, and giving her what she needs. So maybe she needs validation or something, you know.
That feels good.
Yeah.
Loving the inner child feels really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Evia or Jade, you're still on here too. Do you guys feel any of those things too?
Yes, I can definitely resonate and relate to um, the belief systems and the behaviors and the struggles of parents, and that, you know, their feelings too of guilt and shame of whatever they have kind of bestowing on us, and having to step outside of that and realize that that is not ours, and to find our own footing. It's really tricky because it can carry into new relationships as adults. You know, the longer we believe what things were actually not helpful to us, you know, from the conditions of the parents. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up, my parents are still married, but it was a pretty unhealthy I mean, it's pretty unhealthy. My mom's really depressed and like not emotionally available person. And my dad is a caregiver and he does everything. He's kind of an enabler, you know? Um, and so, like, my relationships, romantic relationships, I would be the doer because, you know, I get that from my dad. And so I would also attract partners that were a lot like my mom, like unemotionally available. And so it's cool to do this work, to realize that, because then we can choose to shift it.
Yes.
Yeah, of like, okay, I don't need to strive for my mother's love. I don't need to find that in another partner. I can find that within myself.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love's the key.
Yes. It is before anything else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do you guys notice too that when we do this work, that we do attract different, like better, like it gets better as we have more of this self-awareness in our life.
Yes.
Like I notice my partners I choose, like they're up leveling as I love myself,
Good.
and I attract partners that love me more, you know. I'm not married, you know, I'm just dating right now, but yeah, I mean, it goes in all areas of our life too.
I'm a long time single since I know myself. So just had 2 relationships in my life, really short ones, because I was afraid to lose someone. My father died when I was 17,
Mm.
and he was a really important person in my life. My mom's is pretty narcissistic, pretty selfish. Still having problems with the partnerships, but yeah, we'll see. Maybe someday there will someone be somewhere to catch up. I don't know. We'll see.
There is someone.
That's a good
There is.
attitude to catch up. You don't need to look. It's okay. And honoring
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
I'm hoping to find it because this pandemic made me. I'm living alone with my cat, and it made me feel like really alone. I really had hard times. Oh, but it's gonna be over soon, hopefully.
Mhm.
Yes.
This is really bringing up a lot of feelings for a lot of people, especially I'm single too. Um, it really does. So you are not alone in feeling that, sister. You're in good company.
All the single ladies, all the single
Yeah,
ladies.
we need to do a little dance. Oh, single lady. Yeah, and it's helpful to surround ourselves with other powerful single women to know that, like, as I'm getting older, I'm getting scared. Like, through this pandemic, I'll be 39 on Wednesday, and it's like that and this pandemic and life, and it's like we get scared or feeling like I need to find someone. Like, time's running out, and I had a friend that said, urgency is a lie. She always said that urgency is a lie. She engraved that in my brain, and I'm so thankful because when I start feeling anxious or feeling like I'm a loser or I'll never find him, or it's like find, that word. And I think it's part of feeling separate, feeling I'm not good enough. And then um, it's like,
That's ridiculous.
right. Yeah. Yep. Yep. And it's good that we're not settling.
Yes.
Mm.
Mhm.
Well, I'm excited to see your journey, and you're going to be posting a selfie with your man. Who knows when? It could be sooner than you think.
Pardon me, I didn't get the last one.
I said, I can't wait. You'll be taking a selfie and posting on Facebook. It could be sooner than you think. Who knows?
Hopefully. Hopefully, really. I hope so. I
Yeah.
have so much love to give. Why not? Sharing is caring, isn't it?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep. I love, someone told me that when they were single, they said, when you want love, like if you're single, then give love. So, or if you're feeling poor, give money. So it's whenever you're feeling lack of something, like when you're feeling unsupported, reach out and support someone else. So it's a good reminder because I think that way when I do that, I feel empowered. So for me, it's as simple as maybe sending someone a Facebook message saying, "I just want you to know how much I love you," and it's giving that love. Because then I don't feel separate from love. I feel connected with love, and we're empowering ourselves that way.
I recently started hugging any tree I'm just walking by.
Nice.
Awesome! I love that.
Come here, give me a hug.
Yes.
Right. It's so grounding too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
love it.
alive. They're so alive.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yes.
I love that.
it feels good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Connecting with that nature and hugging something. I've been hugging a pillow, which is probably not as cool as a tree.
Yeah, it's like I I'm not I really hope that this trauma we're gonna have from this pandemic, because the heart frequencies are not getting close to each other. I hope that we can deal with that in long term. It's like not gonna be easy anyways. It's like a culture of meeting someone, shaking hands is it's all maybe gonna change. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Big impact in our life. And I love hugging people and giving kisses and saying hello. Let's just hi there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have been feeling it too. My love language is touch, and so I feel it in my body. 'Cause normally I would get a massage once a month, and or have a partner, right, to massage you. And so, like, I've been giving myself self massage. So I don't know if you do that, but that's been really helpful for me. Like,
Mhm.
just even massaging my face and just having like that connection with myself. Because yeah, it
Mhm.
feels my body is feeling it. I feel you.
Yeah, maybe
Mhm.
it's I feel like I'm far away from the others, or just kind of because I was working all the time and not wearing all this security thing also in the office. But I'm close to myself because of that. It's just like I had time to take time for myself, or to rethink myself. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just some stuff is still going ongoing. So I'm excited about anything that happens, just as long as it flows.
Yeah,
Mhm. Exactly.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I know. A thought came across my mind when you said that, and then I lost it. Maybe it'll come back.
Mhm.
You're talking
Flew
about,
away.
yeah, I don't remember, but it was about that flow. Um, oh, I know what it was. Um, it's like right now, it feels, especially being single, it feels like it's a blank canvas. Like anything could happen.
Anytime.
Yeah, anything at any time. It's when I try to bring my playful energy into it because I want to be more playful. So I try to bring more playful energy of like feeling that fun, like excitement, like, oh, it could happen when I, go for a walk. Who knows? Like, no one knows.
True. Yeah, true.
Are you, do you guys do vision boards at all?
Vision boarding, vision board.
Mhm.
Mm,
Have you heard of like what a vision board is?
I've heard about it. Yeah.
Okay. So, so I have one, um, but I have one for my work. I just posted like sayings or like pictures. I want to buy a lake house one day, and I want to wear this really pretty outfit one day, and it's a lot of like work and stuff. And so I didn't have a guy on there. So a couple months ago, I wrote down like I just imagined what my dream guy would be, and I just wrote it all down there and like how that relationship would feel. And so it kind of brought that playful energy back of like, I want him to be 6 foot or taller, and he's you. And I write it in a way that it is right now. So I wrote, he surprises me and the kids with little things sometimes, and that makes me feel really good. And I feel safe in his arms, and he has such light energy. He makes me smile. And so just writing that all down. So that might be something you might want to play with.
I will.
And you're manifesting your dream man.
It's like creating him somehow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Creating him into existence.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jade, I don't know if you're on, you can chime in too. I don't know. I think all of us on here are single. I don't know what your status is, Stevia.
Yeah, kind of. Oops. Yep, brand new. In and out, keep trying, but it's just really, not healthy to hurt each other in ways that, we do work on ourselves, and that's good when you can support each other in that. But when it comes to a point where you are only bringing out the worst in each other, then it's, it's sad. It's sad, if there's love there, but it's also very difficult to set yourself aside and try to be there for someone. And when I'm going through my own things, my own work that I need to continue to do, so it's really a rough time now to to break up, but
Yeah.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's important that, especially also during these times, that we're not making it harder on ourselves,
Yeah.
that we can somehow still be hopeful. If not, then it's kind of just
Yeah. And I think during a pandemic is a good time, probably not, like you said, to make it harder on yourself to go through a breakup or um, make a huge decision when there's already something so huge going on in the world all around us. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a good form of self-care.
Mhm. Yep.
Feeling that support.
Yep.
Yes, love, share the love. Can you feel it? Sending you all
I'm
love.
holding it, but yes, I'll give you both a heart. And Angie too. Is Angie and Jade on too? Exactly. Is Angie and Jade on?
Angie is me. Because I
Okay.
had logged into my phone just to test the Zoom, and
Okay.
so I logged off, but it didn't log me off. And I'm not sure. I know Jade has littles at home, so she might have just had to take care of. Well, thank you so much for being on here. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Looks like we're just about to our time, so I'll let you guys go. But yeah, feel free to reach out anytime. But just thank you. I love you guys so much.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was really special and lovely. Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Good to,
Be well, be well.
yeah, it's good to see your face.
Yours too.
Yes.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great night, everyone, and have a great morning.
Yes, exactly.
Take
Sleep well.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.